Okay, here we are. We back. Issues and Answers Friday night, the death slot here on Friday night. It is 7:35 in the PM on Friday, December 15th. That means it's only 10 days to Christmas. I genuinely hope you got your Christmas shopping out of the way, folks. I really do. Because it's about to be real out in these streets. Like, people are already getting crazy. Last night, I was coming home from right here at the studio, and I saw a high-speed chase between the police and some guy, and he decided he was going to drive over the dividers, and I saw about 6-7 cars chasing him, and he was determined not to get caught. So I don't know what happened to him. Maybe it'll be in the paper when I read it. But people get crazy around this time. You know, the Christmas holiday is no joke. So be careful when you're at these stores, especially late at night. You just don't know what people are going to do when it's the holiday season and people get desperate. But enough of that. I got some good news. I promised you some good news. And so we're going to have some good news, folks. We're going to have us some good news.
There is a light for the blind man, a sound for deaf ears. It's riches for forgotten souls that have nothing left to give. There is freedom from bondage for those who can't break free. This is the gospel of Jesus, and it's good news. Let us remember we have good news. We won't hide it in the shadows. We will light up the truth. Tell everybody what he's done for you. Shout it from the rooftops. We got good news.
Yeah, I said we had good news. How about a cure for sickle cell anemia? Right? It's about time, folks. It is about time. This is a disease that disproportionately affects us in the melanated community, if you know what I'm saying. This is a disease that has really wreaked havoc on a lot of black people for a very long time. Sickle cell for a long time was a death sentence. You know, once you got that, you knew you weren't going to live a long and healthy life if you were dealing with sickle cell for many years. But regulators last Friday approved 2 gene therapies for sickle cell that doctors hope can cure the painful inherited blood disorder that affects mostly black people. I want to thank Laura Unger from the Associated Press for this particular article. But the Food and Drug Administration said that one-time treatments can be used for patients 12 and older with severe forms of the disease. One made by Vertex Pharmaceuticals and CRISPR Therapeutics is the first approved therapy based on CRISPR, the gene editing tool that won its inventors the Nobel Prize in 2020. The other is made by Bluebird Bio and works differently. The 2 gene therapies are the first approved in the U.S. for sickle cell. The FDA has previously okayed 15 gene therapies for other conditions. Some have list prices in the millions of dollars. And the sickle cell therapies will too. So you're going to have some loot. You know, they can cure you, but it's going to cost you. In the United States, an estimated 100,000 people have sickle cell, and about a fifth of them have the severe form. Sickle cell is most common among black people, and 1 in 365 black babies are born with the disease nationally. Scientists believe in being a carrier of the sickle cell trait helps protect against severe malaria. So the disease occurs more often in mosquito-prone regions of Africa, such as Africa, or in people whose ancestors lived in those places. The disease affects hemoglobin, the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen. A genetic mutation causes the cells to become sickle or crescent shaped, which can block blood flow, causing excruciating pain, organ damage, strokes, and other problems. Current treatments include medications and blood transfusions. The only permanent solution is a bone marrow transplant, which must come from a closely matched donor and brings a risk of rejection. No donor is required for these gene therapies, which permanently change the DNA in the patient's blood cells. Wow, the future is here. They can actually change the DNA in a patient's blood cells. Wow. You know, when science isn't like figuring out new ways to murder people, they actually can do a good job of finding new ways to help people. You know, we need to put more of these doctors on this, curing sickle cell and AIDS and cancer, and less on designing new weapons to murder half the planet. But that's neither here nor there, folks. The goal of the Vertex therapy, called Casgevy or Casgevy, is to help the body go back to producing a fetal form of hemoglobin that's present at birth. It's the adult form that's defective in people with sickle cell. CRISPR is used to knock out a gene in stem cells collected from the patient. Bluebird's treatment, called Lyfgenia, aims to add copies of a modified gene with red blood cells, producing an anti-sickling hemoglobin that prevents or reverses misshapen cells. When patients get treatment, stem cells are removed from their blood and sent to a lab. Before getting the altered cells back, they must undergo chemotherapy. This process requires at least 2 hospitalizations, one lasting 4 to 6 weeks. The FDA's approval is the first for Bluebird's treatment. Vertex has been previously authorized in Britain and Bahrain. Studies testing the therapy suggest they will work well. Of the 31 people treated in the pivotal Vertex study with sufficient follow-up, 29 were free of pain crises for at least a year. In the Bluebird study, 28 of 32 patients had no severe pain or organ damage between 6 and 18 months after the therapy. Wow. But doctors point out that there are possible side effects with long-term outcomes, and the long-term outcomes are unknown. For both, the necessary chemotherapy comes with risks such as infertility, hair loss, vulnerability to serious infection. With the Bluebird therapy, blood cancer has occurred. Just letting y'all know. So the FDA has said that the label will include a black box warning about that risk. With the Vertex therapy, some scientists worry that CRISPR brings the possibility of off-target effects, which are unexpected changes to a person's genome. So we're in uncharted territory right now, folks. We don't know what's going to happen to a person's genes once they get these treatments. You know, but for a lot of people who are ultra sick, very sick, it might be worth it for them. Doctors say that they don't expect every medical center to offer the gene therapies because they require so much equipment and coordination between medical specialists that they don't expect lots of people to seek them right away. Watkins said that some may want to wait until more people get the treatments. Experts also warned that the cost could be a hurdle. The list price for the Bluebird Bio is $3.1 million, and for Vertex, $2.2 million. What patients might pay will depend on insurance coverage and other factors. To help cover the cost, the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services announced a plan that aims to establish partnerships with state Medicaid agencies and drug companies, but eventually gene therapy could be the transformative and really change the landscape of sickle cell disease. Wow, that is incredible. But just with anything, everything comes with the risk, folks. But just having that type of hope is in itself good news. All right, folks, it is 7:45 p.m. I got to go to another break, and I'll be back in to mop up so that Dr. Williams doesn't come in with the 2x4 and kick me out personally. I'll be right back after these.